All right, let's dive into a topic that's always in the headlines, the big debate between free trade and protectionism. We're going to break it all down, drawing from the work of Professor Mustafa Acar. And trust me, this is a clash of ideas that shapes everything from the price of your phone to, well, global peace. So let's get into it.
So, to get us started, the source material asks us to picture this. It's April 2025, and a massive trade war between the US and China has just exploded. We're not talking about small taxes here and there. We're talking about tariffs rocketing up to an incredible 145% on some goods. Now, a scenario like that really sets the stage for the big question we're tackling today. When countries build these huge economic walls, who are they really protecting?
You know, to really get what's happening with trade today, you have to look back, because what we're seeing isn't really new at all. It's just the latest round in a very old fight between two totally different ways of looking at the world.
And this slide just boils it down perfectly. On one side, you've got the free market way of thinking. It's all about individualism, your freedom to choose, open borders, and government taking a step back. But on the other side, you have the command economy mentality. And that's all about the group, central planning, building walls with protectionism, and having the government heavily involved in everything. At the end of the day, pretty much every trade debate is a battle between these two fundamental mindsets.
And this fight goes way back. For hundreds of years, the idea of mercantilism was king. People believed the world's wealth was basically a fixed pile of gold and silver. It was a zero-sum game. For me to get more, you had to get less. But then this guy Adam Smith shows up in 1776 and just flips the whole table over. He said, no, true wealth isn't gold. It's what a country can create and produce. The pie isn't fixed. We can actually make it bigger for everyone. He argued that trade is a positive-sum game, where both sides can come out ahead. A totally revolutionary idea.
Okay, so with that history lesson in our back pocket, let's look at the modern arguments for protectionism. Why do so many people still argue for building up those economic walls today?
And you can see why these arguments are so appealing, right? They feel like common sense. First, there's national security. You don't want to rely on a potential rival for things like computer chips or medicine. Makes sense. Then you've got the infant industry idea. Let's shield our new companies from the big global players until they're strong enough to compete. And of course, the one you hear the most, saving local jobs by blocking foreign goods. It's a politically powerful message.
But that's only one side of the coin. For every one of those arguments, there's a counter-argument. So let's flip it over and get into the free trade rebuttal. How does it push back on these ideas?
So let's start with that infant industry argument. I mean, it sounds totally logical, doesn't it? You wouldn't put a toddler in a boxing ring with a heavyweight champion. You protect them, you nurture them, you let them get strong first. Same idea for businesses.
But here's the catch. The rebuttal here is that without the pressure, without the heat of real competition, those protected infants, well, they tend to stay infants forever. As the source argues, you can't learn to swim if you never get in the water. In the same way, businesses can't really learn to be competitive if they're always shielded from the competition. That pressure is what forces them to get better, faster, and smarter.
Okay, now for the big one. This is the argument you hear all the time, especially from politicians, that tariffs and trade barriers save jobs at home. The logic seems super simple, right? Make foreign stuff more expensive, people will buy local stuff, and local companies will hire more people.
But the source material points out something called the relocation effect, and it's so important to understand this. Trade is a two-way street, so if the US puts a tariff on Chinese steel to help an American steelworker, what do you think China does? They retaliate, maybe with a tariff on American cars. So sure, you might save a job in a steel mill in one state, but you might cause a job loss in a car factory in another. Unemployment doesn't actually go away, it just moves.
Now, the case for free trade isn't just about poking holes in the other side's arguments, it's also about what it actually brings to the table, especially for you, the consumer.
So think about how this works. Step 1. When you have open borders, more companies can come in and sell their stuff. That means more competition. Step 2. All that new competition and extra supply naturally pushes prices down. And step 3, and this is a big one, to get you to buy their product in a crowded market, companies have to step up their game. They have to innovate, improve quality, and offer you more choices. So the bottom line is, for us as consumers, free trade often just means better stuff for less money.
So after hearing both sides, what's the final verdict from Professor Acar's work? Well, it suggests that the real price of protectionism isn't just measured in dollars and cents. It's also about what kind of world we want to live in.
Okay, first let's talk about what hits your wallet. On a purely material level, the source is pretty clear that protectionism tends to lead to three things. You pay higher prices, you get lower quality and less variety, and the whole country's economy can actually grow more slowly.
But here's where the argument takes a really interesting turn. It goes beyond the economics and suggests that this is also a moral debate. That the choice between free trade and protectionism is actually a choice about our fundamental values as a society.
And the moral case is pretty broad. The thinking goes that when countries are tied together economically, war becomes way more costly and less likely. It encourages people from different cultures to work together. It respects your individual freedom to buy what you want from who you want. And by creating opportunity, it can be a powerful tool against poverty. It can even reduce corruption, because with fewer trade barriers, there are fewer opportunities for companies to just lobby for special favors.
And this whole idea was summed up so perfectly and, frankly, so bluntly by the 19th century economist Frederick Bastiat. He said, "If you do not allow goods to cross borders, soldiers will cross them." Wow, it's a pretty stark reminder that peaceful exchange is often the best alternative to conflict.
And that brings us to the final thought, and it lands right in your shopping cart. The source leaves us with this powerful question to chew on. When you decide what to buy, are you just making a simple purchase? Or are you also, in a small way, casting a vote for the kind of open, interconnected, and competitive world you want to live in? Something to think about next time you're shopping.